so-called flying saucers.
There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the SA. It's rotating.
So today we're going to talk about the Collin's Elite. Now for this, honestly, I suggest you go to Jason Samosa. He just did an episode on it, and he's way better than me with a lot more quality and very smart man. But yesterday, Jeremy Corbell dropped an episode on Weaponized, and I was so happy because James Lakatsky just goes off, and James Lakatsky doesn't say much. But Jeremy pushed his buttons. And Jeremy Corbell and Weaponized, for those couple, 2 or 3 new friends of mine, the last couple weeks that I've made, who might be checking this out, that know nothing about UFOs. I'm sorry, but it's a long story, and go watch the hearings in Congress that have happened, the New York, I don't know. But I love you guys. Anyways, James Lakatsky is a rocket scientist, worked in the DIA, Defense Intelligence Agency, and he was studying UFOs. Now, there was this program by the government, that legit program called OSAP. But, so this whole thing about UFOs is very secretive, as you guys know, and it's not all jokes. It's legit. And with this program, what happened was that some fundamentalist religious people in the program that they call the Collin's Elite. There's been rumors about this. Wow, Nick Redfern wrote a book called Final Events, very dark book about this topic. Then, that's a really good book, and I'm trying not to go on a tangent. So James Lakatsky doesn't say much. He's been interviewed by George Knapp, wonderful journalist, and Jeremy Corbell in the past. But this time he went off, and he did say quite a bit, but
people ask me, no, people haven't asked me, but they should. That transfer of material that DHS said in Kona Blue, denied, didn't exist. Don't you think I already knew that already? This was the 3rd attempt for that transfer under the conditions laid for us. The 3rd attempt. And this was, did I not know it was going to fail? What I didn't know, and the surprise, what I didn't know, was something I can't tell you right now. I was very surprised of what they were really focused on. Very surprised. And it wasn't transfer of recovered technology.
Can you give us a hint? Or?
Can I give you a hint? No, I can't give you a hint. You're going to have to come to that conclusion. I don't think I ever be allowed to reveal that, and it would be denied by others. So I'd never have any proof. But I know where they were coming from. And this discussion was by myself and a key individual on the secure line, because I was, what? You want what? So the thing is, I didn't say that to them because I had to say, I'll try. But I am upset because, people are getting spun up. The government people got spun up. Let me tell you one big spin up, and one real problem we had was the discovery of those phones. That brought attention on this project like you wouldn't believe. And it was from the religious element I ultimately found out. They found out about this program by people talking about those secure phones. They weren't concerned about this was leaking. They were concerned that this project even existed. Were those people beaten back? Well, they didn't think they were, but they were. They were. and they were beaten back in 3 different organizations. In fact, I believe one of the proponents was thrown out of the room, literally. So it was, I'm giving you a full story in one sense about the experience that I had at DIA and with DHS and with DNI. It was a pitched battle. I mean, there were people at DHS that I was warned, you need to keep clear of them. I didn't even work there, and I'm being warned by who to, they're in they've got the management here, and I'm talking top level, the directors are here, and, don't engage with them. Don't say the slightest word wrong. It was just unbelievable. In fact, it's a story both of you would love to hear. And that's why I'm convinced this will never go forward again. You may find out some pieces and that you would like to find out that the counterintelligence people have approved. But, as a comprehensive program that was let loose to do what it needed to do, and we failed at times. We failed at the university. We failed in Brazil. Let's call it what it was. We spent money. We didn't fail on all the documents, the 38. We didn't fail at all there. We didn't fail at all on the research that Bass did. We got everything we needed, the verifications. We got the lowdown, the true story. But the thing is and it's the important story, Jeremy. That's important to you. It's the important story we got. It leads into the important aspects of this, and which I hope to see keep going. It's going,
which is that it's beyond just craft. The important part of the story.
Oh, it's far beyond just craft. And, and some of the material we acquired show that it's far beyond. It is about craft. There's certainly something to learn there. I mean, there's a lot to learn, but it's more than just that. But, it's constantly reading about me. Do I monitor the web? I monitor it very closely because I try to adjust the content of the books to that, still be truthful and try to keep them entertaining. But, it's hard to around fools. And I know what they say about the both of you too. Let's not be, I know that. But, and I don't say I interview with it despite that. The fact is, I think you're both great guys and you've helped a lot. But, don't become obsessed with this. Don't go to the grave thinking that I will learn everything by the time, I make my flight to heaven.
So there's James Sakatsky. And he's talking about the struggle that he had with the Collins elite and how powerful these people are. And he explains like he got switched from agency and how they're in management in the highest places. Stay away from this guy. Don't even look at him wrong. I mean, what happened? Why do they have it so out for James Sakatsky? And he's talking about he's in a new age. These guys are everywhere. And then you have Elizondo comparing them to the freaking Illuminati, which sounds absurd, but dude, I think the Collins elite, I don't know much about them, but there's something there. There's something there for sure. Lou Elizondo in the book Eminent, there's a chapter called Angels and Demons. He compares them to the Illuminati. Here's a few notes that I took. Chapter 8, Angels and Demons. It was inevitable that we were to cross paths with the Collins elite, to collide with powerful leaders, religious fundamentalists that shape policy. A secret religious society in the Pentagon that drives policy promoting a religious agenda inside a sacred national security institution? What is their agenda? Have they been here since the beginning? Then he starts talking about how these people had the power to make a decision, kill a program with a nod or a stroke of a pen. And That was it. It's over. So we know that that's what happened in WhatsApp. And he was like, Elizondo goes into the legacy program. And he's like, as the legacy program wasn't enough, now we have to deal with this Collins elite. Now, this is very interesting because this ties to, right now, you know, you're hearing about the Holy War, Israel, freaking apocalypse, like legit, like people that are trying to bring like almost Jesus back in the end of the world. Now, this sounds absurd and insane. It does. But there's people out there trying to do this right now. And it freaks me the fuck out, dude. Like, what the fuck going on with that? And the thing is about these people in the Collins elite, Elizondo goes into
Deputy Director of DIA. I took this to be a consolation prize of sorts. Clapper was generous and professional, as always. Rather than oust an old rival, Clapper recognized Wood's worth and offered him a key role. My optimism was short-lived, however. Within 30 to 40 days of my mentor's reassignment to DIA, the atmosphere at the agency changed with respect to our work. Woods brought in colleagues from the CIA. Suddenly, the response to Lekatsky's well-crafted reports to higher-ups elicited a shift in tone. As I mentioned earlier, we're only a month before higher-ups accepted these reports with eager interest. Suddenly, they asked, why are we doing this? Jay and I both sensed a vibe that Jim did not. He was probably too much of an optimist to perceive the hyenas and wolves circling him. His career was on the line. I remember a meeting in fall of 2009 that Jay and I attended with Jim, in which we openly talked about the wisdom of Jim dropping the investigations OSAP had gotten involved with that many considered to be dealing with the paranormal and instead focusing solely on UAP threats. I was convinced that if we produced some solid work under the ATIP banner, there wasn't a person in the Pentagon or Congress who could look away, and it would help Jim's efforts. We have found plenty of evidence of extremely advanced craft performing in...
So what's what happened to Kona Blue? Kona Blue got shut down. They were going to get this UFO, and they checked it out. It was there. Apparently disappeared. I don't know, but look, James Clapper got promoted by President Barack Obama. Devin Woods is a pseudonym for this guy who was also, Elizondo liked this guy a lot, apparently. But apparently he was like with the Collins elite, I guess. I don't. Anyways, they hire a bunch of people in the CIA. They come, the whole vibe changes, they shut the program down. It's over. And, you know, remember DHS was very interested. And I'm just really interested about the Collins elite. I want to know what they believe in. I want to know why they do this. Do they think it's just demons? And were they trying to trigger the apocalypse? And is the story that Nick Redfern says true? Because the story from Final Events, it's terrifying. It connects to life after death in that story. There's a guy that has a near-death experience that was studying UFOs. This dude dies, and his soul is, he sees his soul, and then there's this freaking machine, this UFO, just taking the souls of people, all right? And you'd be people like in a hell, right? And they would take this little flying saucer, take their soul, and then people would just go like, they would just go, walk like this, and fall down a pit. They would fall down a pit, all right? And this guy came back. Now, what the hell was that? I'm not saying that was real. But could the phenomena like have like, I don't know where to go to put this dude. I don't know. I don't know what to say. What do you guys think? Now, James Lekatsky says that he's convinced this will never go back again. I will ask you, do you think the Collins elite could get somebody like Pete Hegseth? Or what about the House Speaker, Mike Johnson? Remember, people always said Mike Johnson, I mean, he's the guy kills the legislation. Has the power to kill legislation. Do you think the Collins elite could maybe, you know, dude, of course,